Hey, Maria, thank you for including your work. And thanks for kicking things off. That's definitely not always the easiest thing to do, so I appreciate that. I didn't see any written descriptions here, and I also don't see the front of the poster. Now, I know it's not required to submit the front of the poster here, but it's a great idea so I can comment on adaptation from the front and the back. Unfortunately, without the front of the poster, I won't be able to comment in that regard. So let's go ahead and take a look. It seems like you're moving back to the original concept, and that was my recommendation. I just think that that yin yang with the type swirling, it didn't work, Maria. It just was not legible. I thought the first concept was better in that. If I understand the first concept correctly, it was I'm not positive if it was either a depiction of the South border of South Korea or the border between North and South Korea. That's the border between North and South Korea, and I think that's what you were kind of going for in the front. Then we also have the border of South Korea, which has all these kind of peninsulas and islands. So the point I'm trying to make is I don't really see either one being depicted here. I'm not exactly sure what this depicts. Now, if you would just kind of like give me a summary, it would just really help me a lot. What is this line here in that original concept? Is it indeed the border? I'm just not seeing this as a depiction of the border here, as this seems to go up and to the right. Whereas this one seems to just kind of go up to the right, then it comes back down. So I'm not real sure exactly what this represents. Let me know, please. I'll be able to do a much more expeditious job describing and giving you my reactions to this if I know exactly what the concept is. I've got the poster up right here, so let's go ahead and take a look at the typography. Okay. Um, the first thing, I remember the dot on the front. I'm wondering if we can't use that yellow color to around the sun. I mean, around this image, just to kind of represent this sunshine politician. Do you see what I'm saying? You got a white stroke on there now. If we just add that yellow stroke and maybe just make it just a point thicker, I think that might be interesting. As far as typography goes, you have a good start. You have a great start here, but there's a few things we want to address. Okay, you've got indents here and space between paragraphs. It's one or the other, not both. Personally, I think space between paragraphs is just superior than indents. I always use a space between instead of indents, unless the client specifically says they want indents, in which case I'll try to talk them out of it because indents, I just think left alignment with space between paragraphs just really preserves that gorgeous left margin. That's my preference, but the point I'm trying to make here is that either use one or the other, but not both. Also, if you do decide to indent, you don't need to indent a first paragraph of a composition. Indent demarcates a new paragraph. So my recommendation is just to flush these all left. Okay, so looks like you're using either old style or, let me see, 12.3, 2000. Trying to find some examples. Yes, you're using old style, so that's excellent. Good job there. The numbers look gorgeous. Um, your rags still need some adjusting. I mean, there's too much fluctuation here, too much of this going on. Like there's an angle right here. Um, the difference between the longest line and the shortest line in the same paragraph is pretty drastic. You've got an angle here. There's a pretty drastic change. Um, this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. Still need some adjustments, but we need to adjust the rags. So definitely take a look at that video in the course announcements, that tutorial on adjusting rags. And then we have a widow right here that you definitely don't. That's a first thing that portfolio reviewers and potential hiring professionals, the first thing they look at is orphans and widows. So we definitely don't want to include that. Okay, so yeah, see this rag right here. Look at that difference between the longest and the shortest line. That's just, I mean, that's almost a half a line right there. Okay. That looks like an M dash right there, 1982 to 1985. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it looks like one. You definitely use an N dash. N as in Nancy for a dash between numbers. Good, good. Okay. All right. Those are my recommendations for the body copy. Let's take a look at the, I don't think you need to present the timeline entries in italic. I mean, italic is for what? And you inside your head, you should be saying this. Italic is used for emphasis. However, we don't need to emphasize these because each one stands alone. Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't recommend italic on your timeline text. Also, we're center aligned here on the timeline text. Again, I don't recommend center alignment either. I mean, you've heard me say this so many times during class. I I am under this really, really strict kind of notion that students studying typography should just stay away from center alignment. Center alignment has a time and a place. Some designers like it. I never center align any typography ever unless it's in a wedding invitation or a formal black tie invitation. But other than that, I just stay away from it. It just does nothing for the negative space. It just creates symmetry. And as we know, symmetry is very rarely the most interesting thing in design. Okay, looking good, looking good. Yeah, I think we're looking really good here. So maybe if you could just kind of respond here, just give me an idea of the concept, and let's take a look at the front of the poster and the back of the poster, so we can get a comment on adaptation therein. Okay, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. Thank you very much.